Hello everyone, welcome to episode 24 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. This week I'm joined by the hardware friar, Cameron.
This has been a painful week.
Oh mate, you got to laugh, otherwise you're gonna cry.
My wallet's crying. My wallet is definitely crying this week.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Cameron ran into a few hardware issues this week where he managed to fry his computer and had to go and replace a bunch of stuff.
Had to replace CPU, had to replace motherboard, had to replace the GPU. The only thing salvageable from it was the power supply and the SSD card.
So the cheapest parts. Fantastic.
100%.
And we're also joined by a special guest this week, Ben. How you doing, mate?
Hello, I'm doing good. Not having computer issues, but my computer probably functions worse than even that computer because it's held together with literal duct tape. So
I love it. This week we're going to get into a few bits and pieces around news. There's not a huge amount happening, but it's sort of a quiet start to the year. We'll talk about
pieces.
Yeah, we'll talk about what we've been playing as usual. A lot of Cuphead in there. Go through a couple of questions. But first, as always, Cameron's going to transition us to maybe the easiest song of the week I've done in a while. It's a new game, but it all looks old, super retro, full of heart and soul. But every time it's such a bitch to play. Fought a dragon, a giant evil queen bee, a spooky ghost train, a siren on the sea. But so often it only makes me scream. 'Cause I don't want to do it on expert, and I don't want to do it without getting hurt. My hands are all cramped from this gameplay, 'cause I don't ever wanna run and shoot. Don't want any more run and shoot. This is just Cuphead, test all your reflexes, shoot. Don't wanna run and shoot.
Alright. The first thing I've got to say about that is the only thing in Cuphead that you should be doing is running and shooting.
Yeah, but I'm tired of it. I've been playing so much of that game this week. It's just...
I'm actually glad I just peer pressured you into doing it.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Is that what that song was about, Cuphead?
Yes. I
have not played Cuphead yet. So.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
I got what the song was, but I didn't get what game it was talking about.
Okay, fantastic. Cameron, you know what the song is, I assume?
It is Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous by Good Charlotte.
No, it is not.
Oh.
Ben, do you know what it is?
It's Good Charlotte.
I do. It is Good Charlotte.
It is Good
Charlotte.
Yes,
it's Anthem.
Yes.
Why am I... Oh.
All right, so no points for Cameron. Good job, Ben.
Point.
Good job. It's very rare that a guest gets the song. I'm very, very happy about that.
What did I say?
I'm trying to be impressive here, so
I thought about doing Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous, but I like that song probably more.
It is the anthem.
Yeah. Throw all your hands up. Yeah, exactly. All right, well, barring that, let's have a chat with you, Ben. Who the hell are you? Tell us a little about yourself.
So I'm Ben. I am a solo full-time indie game developer. So I make games. I've been making games for about 11 years now. But I just started doing it full-time for the past 2 years. Because I had to get a big boy job and save enough money because game dev is really hard to make money from. So saved up money to do that. And so my dream was always to release a game on Xbox. So launched the first game on Xbox earlier this month. So really hype about that. So that's the basic quick and dirty of who I am. So
fantastic. Well, I suppose tell us a little bit about your game. I suppose you want to get the shilling in early.
Of course, yeah. So most recent game, Operation Zeta, came out on Xbox on January 14th. So basically, it is a roguelite game where you have a little guy and it's got some cool gravity physics. I'm really bad at selling my own game concepts. But so anyways, your ship blew up in this big battle and basically your side of the battle lost. And you have to go and do quests for locals who have snatched up your parts, and you have to do quests for them, recover the parts, and bring them back to repair your ship. So there's a whole ton of different characters that you unlock each time you play, and the whole idea is that it's all randomly generated every time you play, so you'll get different quests, you'll get different planets, different enemies, all that kind of stuff. So, and in between run-throughs, you can get upgrades to make future run-throughs easier and such.
Gotcha. So I guess around the game itself, how long did it take you to develop? What's the process like? Is kind of the question. I imagine a lot of our listeners are interested in.
Oh yeah. So basically, I don't use a game engine. So that what I use is like it's my own custom game engine. So SFS, which is my game company, stands for So Freaking Sweet. So my game engine is called Freaking Sweet, and that's what powers the game. So I've been working on that for a while. So if you wanted to say when did development start on it, like probably 6 years ago when I started working on the game engine. But like the game itself instead of the game engine, probably about 3 years ago I started working on it. But yeah, no. So basically, I really started getting the idea of what I wanted this game to be after I played. I don't know if you guys have played The Outer Wilds. That's a really fun. Like I loved the gravity mechanics in that game. Right, it was really satisfying, like going from planet to planet, and that's where I got like the first idea of like I want to make a gravity physics based game, right? So,
gotcha. Right. Any other sort of influences or big games that you that sort of drove you to make this?
I would say that's probably the biggest one, even though this game plays nothing like Outer Wilds because it's a roguelite, right? So, I mean, I guess in a sense, Outer Wilds is almost a roguelite, right?
Sort of,
but,
yeah.
Sort of, but not really. Yeah, no, I mean, that was the big one with that. And, like, from there, I just kind of thought of wild ideas because I wanted to make something that felt, like, completely different than other games. So there wasn't really another big game that I like really was inspired by for it.
Fantastic.
Like I've started playing this week. I only put like an hour, maybe 2 hours in the other day. But like I don't think I've ever played a game like it before. Like just you think roguelike, you think dungeon crawler kind of thing. You don't think middle of space using weird gravity mechanics.
Yeah, exactly. And that, like I said, that's the big thing I was trying to go for with this game. Because like I said, this is my third game that I've come out. It was first on an Xbox, and all my games that I'm making from here out are going to be on Xbox. But the biggest complaint of my second game was that everyone compared it to other games, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this. So I went to the farther end of the spectrum and like, you can't compare this to anything. So was the idea.
Fantastic. So I mean, obviously you mentioned you're a solo dev. You have to wear a lot of hats, I imagine, in that. How does that go? I mean, obviously, you got the creative side, you got a marketing side of it, you got the podcasting side of it now,
community management.
Yeah. No, it's tricky, and the thing is that like you ask pretty much any indie dev, and they'll tell you that the thing that gets neglected the most is like the marketing and that aspect of it, and that's definitely what I'm the worst at. I went to school to be a programmer, so that's what I'm best at. But like I've really gotten into doing pixel art because I'm like, okay, I want to make games. How can I make games and do that? So that's actually what I find the most like relaxing to do. And how I like to do it a lot of times, I'll segment my weeks into like, okay, here this is a programming day. Okay, this is a marketing day. Okay, this is an art day. With that kind of stuff, and segment it because it's very different trains of thought when you're sitting here and writing complex gravity equations versus drawing like a space hamster in pixel art, right? There's a completely different trains of thought. So,
no, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I guess in terms of sorry, Cameron, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say in terms of like publishing for Xbox, what kind of process was that? I imagine you would have used ID at Xbox.
Yeah, no. So basically, what I first do. So when I first started making games like 11 years ago, I had no clue what I was doing. And my first game, I actually tried to apply. That's when ID and Xbox launched. Like within like the first 2 weeks, I'm like, oh hey, I have this game, and they're like, no, this game's not good enough. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'm gonna get better. So then I like 6 years after that, you apply through ID at Xbox, and they walk you through the whole thing. It was a little bit trickier than I thought from a mechanical perspective, but like working with the people at Xbox was really, really easy. And like whenever I got stuck, I could just email like I felt like I had a whole team of people at Xbox like supporting me the whole time through it, which was really neat. So, and I'm going through the process of porting to other consoles right now, and Xbox I would say like it felt really supportive. So
that's good.
Right. I suppose we're an achievement hunting podcast at the end of the day, so the question's going to come up. Where do achievements fit into the development cycle
So, I would say it's probably for this game at least, because I knew I wanted to be on Xbox, and I'm like I love getting achievements. I'm a big achievement guy too. So this actually it kind of happened mid development of what I wanted like the core achievements of the game to be, and then as like I went on, I'm like, oh, this would be a cool idea for achievement, and I added that, and that's it. Kind of was just fluid as the game went on, because it within my game engine I have like a whole system to like pop them up if it's not on Xbox and show the achievement and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's one of those things that like you really, it's really nice to talk to a developer who has that some sort of understanding of why achievements are such an important part of a lot of the reason why people play video games, right? I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
Cameron and I talk about being like a niche of a niche in terms of like how we're a little bit too obsessed, but
It's always
No, I totally get that. So like I said, I love achievements. I was one of the people back in the day that kept my Xbox on for like whatever 10 hours to get that one Dead Rising achievement.
oh yes,
Yeah.
yep.
So
Okay, yeah, so yeah, did you one of us?
I totally get it.
That probably transitioned us to a little bit about you personally and kind of the games you play and that kind of stuff. Do you have anything, like do you have any sort of favorite series, sort of genres that you're really into?
So it depends because I have different moods of like what I want to game on. So the game I would say I have the most hours in on Xbox and probably anywhere is Halo Wars 2. Like me and my friends play that like at a really high level. And we played the first Halo Wars a lot too. And my proudest gaming achievement as once in like the top 200 in leaderboards for the first Halo Wars. But I'm not as good at the second one. I'm in like Onyx or whatever, but I'm not like top 200 yet.
Oh, good. I need a co-op partner for the campaign.
Yeah, no, hit me up. I'd be down to play anytime. So
fantastic. So like you sort of genres like RTS is one. Like, RTS on console is an interesting one.
That's the thing too. Is I feel like that's such an underutilized like market too. Because Halo Wars, I feel like it's like the only RTS I know of that they designed the game to work well on console, and that game plays so well on console, and like it feels really nice with the controller. And I don't know. I feel like there's not enough games that do that. I feel like that's a big market space that's not being fully utilized.
I can't really think of any others than Halo Wars that actually feel natural to play.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because there's like ports of games that like were RTSs and they bring to console, but they don't feel natural, like you said. Yeah.
I remember my first experience with RTS on console was Age of Empires 2 when they had the PlayStation 2 port.
Yeah.
And Age of Empires 2 was the first PC game I ever played, and I still play it to this day. I love it. But then just going and playing it on PlayStation is just such a bad experience.
Oh no. Yeah, I can't imagine Age of Empires on PlayStation. I didn't even know they made it for PlayStation.
Yeah.
I don't think it sold well.
No, yeah. I think it was like the old StarCraft port for the N64. Like it technically worked, but like that's not the way to play that game. I always love the idea of RTS. I'm always like, man, RTS is great, but then I play Command and Conquer, and my strategy is usually just build as many mammoth tanks as possible and just roll over the enemy base. And if I lose, I just obviously didn't build enough tanks. So that's kind of usually the way I go with it. But yeah, like I really enjoyed Halo Wars 1 and 2, and like I've still got Command and Conquer 3 and Kane's Wrath and that sort of stuff to do on the 360 for those RTS games. But yeah, it kind of it would be nice to see. I mean, well, now that Microsoft owns the Blizzard IP, you never know what might come over to the consoles, right?
Yeah, no, that'd be really cool.
Any other sort of genres or series that you're really into?
Series as a whole, I really liked being I'm an Xbox fanboy. I really liked Gears of War. Mm-hmm. I haven't played through the newest campaign of it because the person I was going to play it with, we ended up not being able to play it. And I was waiting to play it with them. So I just need to bite the bullet and play it. But I really loved all the Gears of War games. And like I almost 100%ed Gears of War 2. I just there was like 3 achievements I couldn't get in it. But I was really proud of it too.
They're nearly perfect games. It's just that seriously achievement.
The achievements were just this like, yeah, hey, if you got 300 hours, it's like I mean I do, but I don't know if I necessarily want to spend all of them on one game.
Yeah.
Just that rumor of a Gears of War collection going around at the moment, similar to Halo MCC, and it's just like, yeah, I would love to play through Gears again, but at the same time, like, just that one achievement. It's going to be like, seriously, complete all campaigns like 100 times, get 1 million enemy kills.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's going to be something ridiculous to up the ante.
I mean, to be fair though, as a series though, Gears is probably the perfect one for that, for a collection to come out in that Master Chief Collection style, right? Like they've got a big series of games. They haven't done any remasters of any of them, well, except for the first one, right? But I think
they all hold up pretty well too. Like I feel like I've gone back and played like Gears 1 recently, and it still feels good. So
yeah, I did the Japanese version of Gears 2 a few years back, and like still fantastic game.
There would have been like FPS boosted in that as well, yeah.
Yeah, now it is. Yeah. I mean, I'm playing through Gears of War Judgment at the moment actually, to sort of try and clean that up, and it looks really good. I mean, the gameplay
that's actually one of my favorite Gears of War. I know everyone hates Judgment, but Judgment was one of my favorite ones.
I like most of it. Like it's actually not too bad. I can understand why people didn't like some parts of it, but like I've been playing the overrun mode a lot. I'll talk about it when we get into what we've been playing, but it's actually having a surprisingly good time with it.
Maybe I need to go out the bullet and go back to Gears.
Yeah,
do it.
Well, hey, you've
like
got the time
games
for it.
that not going to get completed.
Yeah, you don't finish games anyway, so what are you worried about?
Mate, I'll have Cuphead done. And that will be my one proud completion of the year. Then I'll move on.
In January. Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions, Cameron?
I guess going for an Xbox, and particularly for SFS Studios, like, what do you want to do? Like, what's the next best thing?
So, the main thing on the plan right now is I'm going to have a really big, like, free DLC. I don't know what to call it yet. I'm just calling it free DLC for later this year for Operation Zeta. And that will have some new characters and a bunch of new quests and stuff. That will come out later this year. And like I said earlier, I want all my games from here to come out on Xbox. So probably about every year and a half, I'll have something. And like I was saying earlier, I do think there's a big market space for RTSs on consoles. So I'll say that much. So
all right. Yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye open.
I was going to say, with that free DLC too, would we be seeing more achievements?
Yes, you will. There will be more achievements. So
easy.
I didn't know you can add achievements even as like through the ID, that Xbox program. Like you get an X amount of achievements you can add.
So, oh yes.
Every 6 months, just chuck a 1K total update on.
They're the easiest achievements ever. People will just lap that up.
But like this is the difference though. I played Operation Zeta. It has a well thought out achievement list that is essentially like, finish Operation Zeta with this character, and playing different characters. It's not like a Zidalon game where it's like, start the game up, put in 5 minutes of inputs, and then you've got the 1K update.
Yeah, no, the quickest I've seen someone 100% it, I think, was 14 hours. So.
Oh, okay, right. That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, no. So I try to design it though to where like you can't probably, like, I don't think it'd be possible to beat it like under 10 hours 100% it, but
right.
Like the idea of that was to not just give me achievements. I want it to be somewhat satisfying. For sure. No, it's striking that balance is so important. Yeah, because you don't want to deprive them too much of like, oh, I'm never getting achievements or like that. But yeah, you don't want to.
It's good with this kind of game though, where it's just like, all right, you actually with a roguelike, you feel like you earned it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sweet.
All right. Cameron, do you want to get into what we've got for the news this week?
All right. So there's a lot of small stories. The first one that caught my attention was Rockstar's been in the news with GTA 5. And this isn't just like GTA 6
I was going to say they're putting out yet another remaster?
Oh, we could only hope. No. So it was recently found out by Forbes that there's a problem in GTA Online.
I mean, there are many problems, but which one in particular?
Real-life cartel members are using it as a system to recruit younger members to join the cartel and become drug mules.
Oh no!
Ah, it's the life of crime that my parents always worried about me putting too much time into video games. It's all coming to fruition.
GTA was like the poster child for that too, right?
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I played all that stuff way too young.
I love how all the controversy figures is just like, games like GTA, you're gonna go off and shoot up somewhere, But no,
it's
no,
encouraging violence and crime.
You're just going to be a drug mule.
I mean, okay. Is there any more elaboration on that story? Because I kind of want to get the details.
The report included details of American officials busting nearly 60 kilos of meth in a girl's Jeep. In a statement to the officials, the girl explained how she coerced into becoming a runner for a guy she met on Grand Theft Auto Online. After meeting through GTA, the duo conversed on Snapchat, where he offered her up to $2,000 for shipping electronics to Mexico. However, when the law enforcement officials inspected a car in Arizona, they found the load hidden inside the Jeep's gas tank.
Huh. All right.
So, while details of the case are still hazy on how much the girl actually knew about the meth being in the Jeep, officials have charged her with possession and conspiracy to import and sell meth.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. There's also a other game, like a mobile title called Free Fire, that the Mexican cartel uses to offer people up to $200 a week to work as lookouts for the cartel.
Wow.
So it's not just GTA, but it's interesting thinking about how, like, these are social networks in their own way. How much policing goes on in terms of like an MMO or a like an online experience?
So I mean, GTA Online is kind of like that almost in a sense, right? It's just like an open world like that.
Yeah, it's kind of become its own thing, right?
Yeah,
like it's a perpetual motion machine in terms of just generating its own. Like people, yeah, exactly. People play that rather than anything else, and it's kind of their own little MMO thing, even though it's kind of an offshoot of a bigger game. But yeah, I mean, like I'm sure there's some policing to it, but with the money that Rockstar is raking in from this game and the amount of players they have on GTA Online, I imagine it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we're not responsible for the content on these things. We're just a platform. We're in the same way that social media, Facebook, Twitter basically say, hey, look, YouTube, we're not responsible for what people post on here. We don't editorialize. This is we just have a platform.
Yeah, because you can meet anyone anywhere, right? So
yeah, exactly, right. It's they can't really stop in. Like, it's pretty easy to make a new account, or you get your account banned, just get a new one. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, like you can have random people slide into your DMs on Twitter, and you end up on a podcast.
Exactly right. Yeah, like it's the wonderful wide world web, right? Exactly. I'm wondering if this is. So obviously we're hearing about this. I wonder how much of it it's actually like really a thing. I mean, obviously probably sensationalized a bit for headlines, but is there anywhere else where this could be happening? I mean, I'm sure there are heaps of drug deals going down on all kinds of platforms. If you check some people's Xbox Live messages, there's probably some suspicious stuff in there, right? Like, I'm sure that all gets
definitely is, yeah.
I'm sure that all gets like policed, right? But even then,
I don't know why my mind is jumping to Club Penguin.
It's because of all the memes of people going around just saying ridiculous things, right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, like that's
just like say something that's just like, all right, cool. I obviously don't want anything to do with this person. Just like, hey, you just wanna, you wanna do a cross country trip for me?
It's just like seeing a crazy whacked out drug dealer on the street. Like, just some crazy person yelling at you and just you trying to get away as quickly as possible, but if you're trying to get from one side of the iceberg to the other.
Oh no.
I mean, like, I'm sure this stuff happens all over the place, and like, but it is particularly funny that it's GTA of all places, where they're just like hardened criminals, and it's 13-year-old in his mom's basement with a headset on, screaming obscenities.
You wonder if that headline made it because it was GTA, right? Like,
yeah,
if it was like some other game, like, oh, they met on Gears of War, it's like they're not going to do that. It's because GTA is like the boogeyman of that, right?
I don't know. I still think Drugs Online with Club Penguin would still.
Okay, yeah, that would be pretty.
Okay,
funny.
but Club Penguin is a little different, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, it's like, yeah, like I guess also there's the SEO angle of putting GTA 5, GTA Online as many times in any article as possible.
Of course.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting. But I'm really curious to see how many. How many other drug busts get pulled out of some sort of contact over another video game. It's like, I was like, I was playing Smuggler's Run, ironically, And yeah, just I figured I'd get some practice in because I'm really good at those time trials, and the cops never catch me.
Probably got like a secret code word or a phrase like
Oh yeah, that's
Nico Bellic. You want to go bowling, cousin?
yeah, exactly. It's like yeah, he
It's like, all right, cool, I get it.
in Halo, it's you have to crouch over people's heads 3 times and then spin in a circle to indicate that you want drugs. I think is the and then you have to try and you pick up a certain weapon to tell them how much
sending
you want.
the wrong message.
We've been playing so much Halo Infinite lately, like even to the point that Brad of all people is playing it. Which
wow.
I believe that the first podcast that we had him on RGS, he said, "I'm never going to play Halo. It's crap."
Yeah.
And just how the times have turned. But it's amazing how many people still teabag to this day.
It's a Halo classic thing to do. You got to do it.
Mm-hmm. I had one guy the other day, just like he wasn't even crouching anywhere into my head. He was just crouching on my leg, and it was like the weirdest thing to see. It's like, mate, if you're doing if you're gonna do it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Just embarrassing both of us.
Kids these days, no idea.
All right, moving on. We've all played Have you played Unpacking, Ben?
I have not.
No? Okay. Unpacking clone topped the App Store charts before it was pulled.
Yeah, this is all that all too common story, right? Where it's like a dev puts out like a small sort of indie game, does quite well.
Really small Australian dev team, smash it.
And then someone just goes and clones it and puts it on the other stores and tries to make money off of it. Yeah. We saw this with Threes with was it 2048? There's been a few like Wordle. I'm sure I know has happened with that as well. There's all kinds of stuff that's happened with it. But yeah, it's just kind of Unpacking seems like kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, like the major problem here is there was no creativity in it whatsoever. It was essentially straight up copy, item placement, everything.
That game is on Xbox now too, isn't it?
Yep. It's on Game Pass.
Does it work well with the controller? Because I actually seen like the trailer for that game, and it looks like I don't know. It looks like it's one of those games. I don't really like it when games do that, where the mouse is on your joystick essentially.
Yeah, it is essentially what that is. It's fine. Yeah. It works relatively well. It's like, again, it's not a time-based game. There's no rushing. It's a very chill, laid-back experience. So it's not like I'm just like, It's like it's just kind of like, well, open the box, pick the thing up, look at it, put it somewhere, see if it.
The accessibility options.
Listen to all the sound options that they did for every single object hitting another object, which is very, very impressive.
Okay. It looks like a really cool game. I was just skeptical of how the Xbox port would be for it.
I'd say it's definitely like a much better experience with mouse and keyboard, but at the same time, it's with the accessibility options and everything, it's perfectly fine on Xbox.
I'll have to check it out.
Really good game.
Relatively short game too, yeah.
Yeah. Really nice, hey, I just want to, kick back and relax after a long day of work kind of feel. Not that I'd know what that feels like.
Exactly, no. Would never clue.
Okay.
But this clone is it's blatant. Like they literally just completely cloned the assets and just ripped it off.
Oh no.
It's not even like, an homage or suspiciously close to it. It's almost one for one.
It's like, hey, this exact same art style except for we're just going to change a few colors.
Yeah.
Which is very disappointing, but not surprising in the least. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Witchbeam Games put out a long Twitter post about it. But it is one of those things that is just way too common in the gaming space. Especially for them too. Yeah. They wouldn't have the funds to be able to fight a legal battle against it.
Yeah, I'm sure going to, if it's on the App Store, you go and talk to whoever owns the App Store to take it down, and I'm sure that wouldn't be an issue, but it's still having a process and having to keep an eye out for it. And obviously they also, people are charging money for it, that potentially could look bad for you if it gets associated with you, even though it's not your game. Yeah, it's just not Not a good look.
Their comment was, it's demoralizing for a small team like ours to see content we spent literally years planning, refining, and handcrafting be hastily reproduced in an opportunist ad-riddled app a mere 3 months after our launch. We're a tiny indie dev, and with the success we've achieved, we still don't have the resources to pursue companies trying to use our game's distinct look and feel to make a quick buck. We have to rely on storefronts like the App Store to better curate their content.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's a good and bad thing in the past like 5-10 years that indies have been more and more of a thing, and it's been more and more accessible to get onto things. But like, it's good because you get all these cool niche ideas, but it's bad because you get a lot of stuff like that where you'll get people who are just shoveling the same stuff over and over, right? And like Steam is really bad with that now. I feel like there's just so much garbage on Steam because Steam right now, all you need to get on Steam is you pay $100 and you can get a game on Steam, where you used to have to like get it approved and there's a whole process. And I feel like the App Store too, they've made it a lot easier to get stuff on there. So
like there's those rare times that, like, I'm trying to think of Overcooked, and there's quite a similar game where I believe that they both started production at the same time. Where
I mean, look,
very similar style, but
convergent ideas is not like, again, you can't patent an idea as such, right? So it's like, it happens.
It's pretty obvious a lot of times when someone's like just trying to throw something together and hop on that versus someone who spent years on an idea that's similar to something else, right? So
exactly. I mean, Infamous and Prototype came out in the same year.
Yeah.
It's like the whole dueling games thing is nothing new. Man, I'm also thinking about the movie Deep Impact and Armageddon coming out at the same time as well. Both movies about asteroids about to destroy the Earth. All right, what else you got, Cameron?
All right, some quick news. Hyperscape servers are to close in April, and it's already being delisted from Xbox.
So can't play it, which sucks because I'm like, it would have been nice to know because I would have probably gone and done it, but I mean, most people I'm sure will say Hyperscape, what never even heard of it, and it's like, it's the Ubisoft's Battle Royale. Clearly didn't do super well because Ubisoft never walk away from anything.
Was it 2020 it launched?
Yeah, it was like, I think it was 2019, 2020, I think maybe. It was not that long ago. But
I never heard of it.
Right, yeah, exactly right. It was. I remember when it first came out. I think it was it free to play? It was early access. I think they did like an early access.
11th of August, 2020.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So not very long at all. That's not. I mean, considering how long they've put support in for games like Rainbow Six Siege and even like For Honor, and they're doing they're extending Assassin's Creed's support out for like a second year. Like for them to be like, this battle royale thing, we're good. We're just gonna shut that right down. Obviously it's not getting the player base they need. But I guess that's always the problem with battle royales, right? It's like you got 100 people jump out of a plane. It's like, well, you need 100 people. Like at the end of the day, it's just for a single game.
I'm trying to think of the other battle royale that announced it was closing, and then they've just like, wait, no, we actually had a huge.
Darwin Project.
Darwin Project, that's it. And I'm pretty sure they've kept it running now.
They got like one server going still, but it's because everyone went back to play it because they were like, the achievements are pretty easy. I think Kiku did it, so I have to ask him.
I think he just AFK'd it the whole time, but.
Oh right, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to touch base on this story only because like there seems to be quite a few delistings lately. Like we had what was the other one? The Artifex Mundi games.
Oh, the Nightmare from the Deep series. Yeah.
That went pretty quickly the other day. And it's just like...
I wonder why. I mean, I'm sure there's a variety of reasons, right? From a development point of view, from a publishing point of view, to do with licensing. I mean, I guess, games as a service is one of those things where like they're going to have an end date, right? Like if you're going to have a game that's always online, the server's got to go down at some point. So someone's going to flip the switch. The money's going to run out. The game's not going to be playable anymore.
In terms of like online, Ben, how do you feel about like these companies that do like these massive, I guess, like battle royales and that where they're online, or even just like mix between having online and offline services when it comes to like achievement lists?
That is a thing that it's interesting, right? Because there's old like 360 games that I want to go back. So like Left 4 Dead 2, for example, I have all of the achievements in Left 4 Dead 2 except for like one multiplayer achievement that was some weird like niche thing you had to get in multiplayer. But like even at the point when I tried to get that achievement like a while ago, there was no one playing that mode, so I could never get that achievement. I would have to go and like set up people to do it. But yeah, no, I'm not a big fan overall of achievements that require you to go in online modes because like you said, there's the inevitable this is gonna die and you won't be able to get this achievement, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting because it's like at least with that, like a lot of the Xbox stuff is still peer to peer, right? So it runs mostly in perpetuity as long as you can find the people, which is like great for like websites like True Achievements and stuff where you can set up sessions and times to get people together to specifically work on those achievements, which is very, very helpful.
But those are less satisfying though when you get those achievements.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because like when you say, "Oh, I'm gonna set up with these guys and I'm gonna do this like crazy thing," it's like, okay, I got this achievement 100% in this game, but I don't feel as good about it as if I would have felt if like, oh, there's this epic thing that I actually did in the game. You know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly, right. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of just like it would be ideal if they just didn't bother. I mean, like people.
Yeah. It depends on the game, like, at the end of the day.
I don't know. I've always felt like multiplayer achievements are kind of antithetical to what the achievement hunting experience is, right? Because most people who don't care about achievements, who are playing multiplayer, get annoyed at people who are like, you're like, okay, well, I need to use this gun for like the next 10 matches because I need to get like 100 kills with it. And it's like, well, that gun is suboptimal and you're ruining everyone else's fun because your team is losing now. Because you're like, it's like, oh, well, I need to get 10 kills with a pistol. And it's like everyone else is using assault rifles. I'm getting, I get a kill every now and then, but I'm also like going like 3 and 20.
Yeah. No, I feel like it's trickier to design achievements for multiplayer. Like I like achievements in multiplayer where it's like get to X rank because you can do that in any way, right? It doesn't force you to play a game a certain way, right?
But, yeah. And I think that's kind of the sort of sweet spot for that. Yeah, I mean, like I get it. Like if your game is mostly multiplayer, you definitely want to put achievements in for it.
Of course.
I just don't like the situations where you got like Battleborn, where it's essentially I have a nice like case and a disc now. I've got like a coaster, and that's pretty much it.
Exactly, because the next step on from that is that when a game has dedicated servers, like we saw with a lot of the 360 EA games, where it's like their games would run off their own servers rather than using Xbox's peer to peer. So it's like when those goes down, that's it. You're done. Like you can't even play those multiplayer modes at all. And then like exactly with Battleborn, where it's like the whole game is multiplayer, it's now completely useless. I'm hoping that like with Game Pass becoming such a prevalent thing and games with a service kind of having a longer tail, that it becomes less of an issue or there's ways out around it. I know when we had Vudix on, he was talking about how there are requirements for achievements for devs to make sure that their achievements are for stuff to be on the store for it to be still achievable even if you take down servers or change things.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, you go, Ben.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so something I can say from going through the process of making a game on Xbox, I don't understand why more games are not crossplay because Microsoft makes it incredibly easy to be able to do crossplay through them. So really, if you ever see a game that's not crossplay with Xbox and like at least PC, it's on the devs. It's so easy to do through Microsoft. So
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, because I know like on the Sony front, it was more of a not so much a technical limitation as a market, being a market leader and not wanting to, give Xbox anything.
We do need to taking our money backs.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah.
But yeah, no, like pretty much it's pretty easy to do that crossplay, and Microsoft gives you a lot of tools with that to be able to do crossplay as well.
I always think of like Mass Effect Andromeda as like my perfect example of an achievement list where, if the multiplayer servers went down for that tomorrow, you're, doing this game type 100 times or whatever it is going to be somewhat harder because you have to do the campaign on the hardest difficulty, but it has a fallback.
Yeah.
Like I love when game devs go, all right, we're going to put the thought into it and go, all right, online's probably going to only last 5 years. What are we going to do to support our players past that? and still make our list achievable, because we know how it affects like the achievement hunting community. I know I'm not going to go out and buy a game now that has like half a discontinued list.
Yeah.
It's a hard ask. The only problem with that is that you have to play Mass Effect Andromeda. Which is,
Hey, they did one thing right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they did.
And it's the one thing that we care about the most.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's another game that does like
Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3 did it as well. Okay. For a lot of their was it like you have to do like the survival mode on certain difficulties, or you go through the game on insane, or do certain levels on insane. Yeah.
It's like one of those requirements is going to be a lot easier than the other, but
for sure, but it's still possible at least. Yeah. What's this about a Monster Hunter game you were talking about?
So that one's an interesting one. So Jeff Grubb, and then further confirmed by Jess Gordon over Windows Central, recently said that apparently Certain Affinity is working on a Monster Hunter style game.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I saw that the other day. I have so many people who tell me that I should play Monster Hunter, but I never have gotten into it. So that could be really neat.
I think I've met those people, right, where they're just like, this is the coolest thing ever. I murdered this monster in front of its child, and then I went back and killed the child while wearing its mother as a hat. And I'm like, I mean, that does sound pretty cool. But apparently it's also incredibly frustrating. We had Aftos on last week, talking a bit about doing Monster Hunter. What's Monster Hunter World, I think, right? And how he's like, yeah, I've done most of the game, but I'm never going to finish it. And I was like, oh, okay, it's one of those, right?
Like, I hear really good things, but it's just like one of those. To me, I put in the same category that you put Neverwinter.
Okay,
which I think is a bit unfair, but like it just seems like massive.
Yeah, well, I mean, Neverwinter keeps getting updates is the big problem. It never ends. But okay, yeah, like I'm interested. Like, I mean, like I'm having a good jumping off point would potentially be interesting. I've heard Dauntless is good as well. And obviously the Monster Hunter basically saved Capcom.
The interesting thing though, is like it's essentially a Monster Hunter clone. If this can have like a 20 to 30 hour achievement list compared to like a 200 hour one, I'm happy.
Put it out on Game Pass. Yeah, it's a bit more palatable.
If it's on Game Pass, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I'm almost certain it will be, right? So that makes sense.
It's like you say 200 hour plus Capcom game. I'm like, no, buddy. No.
Yeah, it's a tough sell.
Hard ask. But yeah, I hadn't known much about Certain Affinity. Apparently, they were largely a support studio that was founded in 2006 by a former Bungie developer.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a close partnership with Microsoft over the years, and they worked on numerous Halo games, Doom, a bunch of Call of Duty titles, and Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, I've definitely seen this stuff show up like on a few splash screens when you start games up.
They did Age of Booty.
Yes, actually, yes, and I need to go and again.
What game?
Age of Booty.
Age of Booty? What? I've never heard of that.
Great 360 game. Actually, if you like RTS, it's kind of like think like Dota style, where it's like you control a single ship and you basically move it around various points on a map with other ships, and then you basically need to go and capture towns, and the person who has the most towns at the end of the map wins basically. And so as you play through it, you collect upgrades and you go and upgrade your ship to make it faster or stronger or have more armor.
That sounds fun to me.
Yeah, and it's like it's really cheap.
Really liked it.
Yeah, I've got like one achievement, like one mission left to do on the medium difficulty. The last mission is next to impossible. But it's a really, really cool game. It's kind of like, it's like tile based, but it's all real time. So you're moving between tiles to try and like get to, it's like, I really enjoyed it. It's a really fun game. It's got some fun multiplayer to it as well. But I definitely recommend. I think it's like $5 or something. They're basically.
I'm pretty sure it's like it's dirt cheap. And they did Crimson Alliance as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And contributed to Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. But I'll definitely check it out. Like if it's a decent completion.
Yeah, I'll let you start it, and then if you finish it, then I know I can finish it.
See, I gotta keep on doing games like Cuphead.
Yeah, apparently.
Question that.
I mean, if you can finish Cuphead, I can probably finish Cuphead.
I mean, Killer Instinct would be the big thing.
Yeah.
I'll quickly touch based on Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves announced their 2022 roadmap, which unfortunately announced that they are going to remove the game's PvP arena mode, which could mean discontinued achievements.
Although they said that they're looking into what they can do about that. They may rework the achievements, which is, I mean, given that it's a Microsoft Studio and how big the game is and how they've done achievement work for the game before to make achievements easier. Yeah. I would be surprised if nothing happens.
I think for them it will be just like what's going to be the best trade-off.
Sure.
So you're doing something that's going to be like somewhat like same skill level as those achievements.
Yeah, probably.
Just to not piss off the people that have already completed it.
I mean, you're always going to piss someone off at the end of the day. It's just kind of how it goes, unfortunately, when you change.
That's how
things.
life just is. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. It's like, yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, it's like, well, I grind, was it like 10,000 bananas? It's like, well, now we change it to 1,000 because 10,000 is ridiculous. And they're like, how dare you? I want other people to suffer like I suffered. And it's like, I don't think that's the right mindset.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't there one person that had completed Sea of Thieves before they reduced?
Yeah,
the
one person finished it. Like, I think that tells you all you need. Well, it tells you all you need to know about.
I'm pretty sure that person though was like full-time Twitch streamer. So at the same time, just to have that amount of clout, I think would be worth it. But I mean, if you'd been working on it for so long,
you can get scurvy.
Not if he's getting all those bananas.
That's true. They still don't know how to eat a banana or a coconut in that game, but whatever.
I love some of these achievement names though, like Rum and Bass, Capture the Swag, Pinspin Prizes.
Okay, I mean, look. If there's one thing Rare does well, it's puns. Like I've been like playing through Banjo-Kazooie. It's just like it's constant.
Oh, I remember when they first announced the first list. And all of them were like shanties.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a good thematic achievement naming.
Yeah. Do you think you'll play Sea of Thieves?
Me ever? No. Okay. No way.
No?
Okay. Look.
That game's so good.
I know. Like, I just don't have the time.
But it's just like a chill thing.
It's true. But I never do anything chill. I'm certified no chill.
Does Gears of War 2 Japanese?
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't want to touch Sea of Thieves.
Look, again, my problem, as I've said with games as a service, is they keep going. My favorite thing about, like, I get the dopamine hit of finishing a game and just being done with it and putting it away and being like, that's a completed game in my trophy case and my list. And so you look at all 1,800 games that I finished. You're like, great. And then, that number drops by a bit because they're like, oh, guess what? We've got a new update. And also the new update broke a bunch of stuff and ruined things. And like, there's a new mod coming out for Neverwinter, update 22. It's probably going to have achievements, almost certainly. I haven't really gone back and played the game at all, but I was trying to go back and earn one of the achievements. And now that they've changed everything, I don't have good enough gear to get into the dungeon that I need to do for the achievement. I used to, but now that I've fell behind for 6 months. And that's more my worry, is that like I don't have time to keep up with all the other games I need to finish, plus games that keep adding new stuff. But I know I'm an edge case and like, not mentally well. So like I get that I'm. It's
good
not.
Way to put it, yeah.
It's not the dev's fault. It's my fault. It's a problem with me.
Sure. Dopamine addiction.
Exactly. But I mean, having said that, if they said, "Oh, hey, we're done with updates for the games. This is it," I was like, "Yeah, we'll get a crew together and look at plan out the achievements, maybe." Sure.
See, this is the problem though. Like games like Sea of Thieves is going to be a case of just like, all right, we've had a good life cycle. It's been like 10 years down the track. We're closing down servers in like 3 months. And at that point, you've had a Microsoft-owned studio release achievements probably up until like 5,000 being the max at that point.
Yeah.
Actually, what is Sea of Thieves at the moment? I reckon it'll probably be around 4,000.
Sorry, you were going to say something, Ben?
3635.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just going to say that I love achievements. And I feel you. I totally understand you in that sense of that. But to me, Sea of Thieves almost isn't like an achievement game. It's like I'm gonna hang out with my friends. I'm gonna have like a couple beers, and we're gonna pretend to be pirates for like 2 hours, right? That's what that is to me. It's not even a game, which is like that's like one of the only games I'm like that with, because like I struggle to play games a lot of times like on PC because I'm like I'm not working towards achievements right now. So it's like why am I playing this? But Sea of Thieves for me, I don't know. It has like a special place of like I'm just gonna be a pirate for a little bit. I love pirates as part of it. So
Todd brings up a good point too. Halo MCC is higher than 5K. I should say there are rare exceptions where they will grant, usually the case of Microsoft First Studios, exceptions to the rule.
Well, this might be a rare situation considering who developed it. Yeah, that's fine. I'm here all week, guys. All right. Anything else you want to talk about?
Plank for that one.
Yeah. Okay.
No, that's pretty much it for that. But man, I want to get. I wonder if I should do Sea of Thieves as a. Maybe I just do rare.
You've got too many other games. No. You got way too much other stuff. And if we're like, we'll do Sea of Thieves together if we get to that stage. But let's.
I mean, let's do rare replay this year. Let's do Sea of Thieves. Let's get Killer Instinct done.
I need to finish more than 5 games this year. Like that. That's.
You know what a really good rare game is? Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
I've done it. We've done it. It's actually
you did that one?
Yeah, I did that one. It was
okay.
It was all right. It was all right.
I love that game so much.
There's one sentence that ruins my relationship with my partner every single time. My partner's like massive into like Mortal Kombat. She loves like retro gaming. Mm-hmm. If she ever hears the phrase "I love Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts," it's like, no, there's a catch for you.
That's just the Manchurian Candidate activation phrase. Yeah, exactly.
That's the one thing that I'm not allowed to say in this house.
That's funny. I thought I enjoyed that game. I mean, like it's very much not a typical Banjo-Kazooie game, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Though. But yeah, like I enjoyed it.
It's a good game, but I would much prefer a Banjo free. To me, Banjo-Kazooie was the first game I ever played. Like it holds a very special place in my heart. But it's a good game, but it's not the kind of Banjo-Kazooie experience that I'm chasing.
Well, you go into it without saying this is not a Banjo-Kazooie game. This is a cool like vehicle building game. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's got some Banjo-Kazooie stuff around the edges, but yeah.
Kind of has that feel like of a Lego-esque kind of. Playing like a Lego builder inside it, like a Lego mini racer inside of the video game.
Yeah,
I can see that. Any other new stuff?
Crisis 4 got announced.
Yeah, that's pretty okay. Cool. I'll probably play it. I enjoyed the other Crisis.
The only reason I'm excited about Crisis 4 being announced is there was some Crytek rumors last year
about Rise 2, right?
Rise 2 being multi-platform.
But I mean, like again, I liked Rise. I like Crisis. I'm sure I'll play the new ones when they come out, if they come out. But yeah, I mean, like I enjoy Crisis. Crisis 2 is probably my favorite. 3 is not bad. 1 is just wandering around in a jungle, really.
PV just joined the chat and said, "What's the pirate's favorite letter?" And I immediately thought to the video call before the podcast with Charlotte, and how much I hate you right now.
What's a pirate's favorite letter? Well, usually would say R, but his first love is the C.
No, it's not J.
Classic.
It's not J.
Yeah, it's yeah.
We had a conversation before the podcast on what our favorite letter was, and I just looked at both Matt and Charlotte, and I'm just like, why? Why have you taken me down this rabbit hole? Why am I spending my Saturday morning?
People really like Wordle. People love Wordle. Anyway, is there anything else?
Blizzard has a new IP.
It's a survival game, right? We don't really know much about it.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. I mean, I'm not really big in survival games, but I always keep an eye on what Blizzard puts out because it kind of
probably good, but yeah, it'll be interesting because they're going to be going through a lot of changes, especially like with the acquisition, and then also with all the drama that's been going around with them, right? So
yeah, exactly.
It'll be interesting to see a game that's being birthed during that if it's still going to have like the same quality.
It'd also be nice for Blizzard to just put out a game in general. It's been a while. I mean, Diablo 4 got delayed. I don't know where Overwatch 2 is.
Overwatch 2 was supposed to come out last year, wasn't it? Or
Right?
am I
Yeah,
just-
yeah. And like, I'm wondering if it's just going to be rolled in, and there's going to be like, it's going to be, it's Overwatch 2.0. Like,
When
we're just
did Jeff Kaplan leave? Like 2020?
yeah, 2020, I think. And then yeah, Mikey Barr, and yeah. Anyway,
Because I feel like it's just a dumpster fire over there right now. Like looking from the outside, that's what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
who knows? Microsoft might clean them up. So
Yeah, I'm
Fingers
hoping
crossed.
the acquisition, changes the culture, and then hopefully they just become a powerhouse again.
we'll see.
yeah,
I mean,
it'll probably take a while though.
yeah, exactly. Like again,
Yeah.
the acquisition isn't for like another year at least. So, and then corporate culture doesn't change overnight. And even then, like Microsoft has a good culture, right? But it doesn't have a perfect culture by any means.
Yep.
So there's always more work to be done, basically.
100%.
Yeah.
No.
I was
now,
also
now I say now there's nothing but pirate jokes in the chat. Well done. Oh boy.
Why don't
Why
pirates
don't
shout?
why don't pirates shower before they walk the plank? Because they'll just wash up on the shore later. Oh my god. Okay. All right. Moving swiftly on.
I love it.
And
love
then the last thing I was quickly going to touch base on is Star Wars games, Matt.
Oh yes. So there's 3 new Star Wars games that EA have announced. Basically, it's the end of the last games that they're going to be doing under the exclusivity agreement that they have with Disney. So one of them is going to be a sequel to Fallen Order, which is great because I love Fallen Order, one of my favorite games of that year.
Anything from Respawn is amazing too.
Yeah. So I should say, yeah, Respawn are involved in all 3 games. They're not necessarily developing all 3. There's like going to be like a strategy, like apparently like an XCOM tactical style game being made that Respawn's going to be helping produce. And then there's also going to be a first-person shooter that's not a Battlefront game. So maybe they're going back to Dark Forces. Maybe it's something. Maybe they're doing another Republic Commando. Who knows? But I'm a huge Star Wars nut, so I'm very, very excited.
Give me Titanfall 3 with a Star Wars skin. That's all I want.
What they need to do, okay, like I was saying earlier, they need to make a Star Wars RTS. How cool would that be? Like, I feel like everyone would eat that up because that universe is just so ripe to have that too.
Right? And they did a couple of good ones back in the day, right? I mean, I know they made was it Galactic Battlegrounds was one that was made based on I think it was based on the Age of Empires 2 engine. Yeah. But it completely breaks because you can have spaceships and obviously they didn't account for that in the engine. So it's just I'm going to build walls and stuff. And it's like, just go over the top. And then they did, was it Empire at War? I think was very, very good on the PC back in the day, but it's been a very, very long time.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Is that's all it would take. I feel like a game like that would sell really well because like I said, Halo Wars is the only console RTS game. Like if they were to make like a console RTS Star Wars game, that would sell incredibly well, I feel like.
Yeah, I totally agree. But again, I'm very excited. And also, like I said, Titanfall 3, I mean, they are working on another first-person shooter of some sort. It isn't called Titanfall 3 yet. It's kind of like a in-development skunks work, just kind of figuring it out as it goes along, which is apparently kind of their process. It might turn into Titanfall 3. It might not. But,
the one thing that I'm missing, in terms of games that I play from, last generation is a Titanfall game. Something, like I've said before, Sunset Overdrive is one of my favorites in terms of single player for that kind of movement mechanics. And so was Titanfall in terms of multiplayer experience. I want something like that this gen.
Yeah, and I think that that game they're working on, I think they've gone out and said that it's a very mobility focused first person shooter. So wall running, that kind of stuff apparently. Yeah, like I said, whether it becomes Titanfall 3 or not, we don't know. But I think you'll get something. Respawn are working overtime on this stuff because they're, especially considering how DICE kind of shit the bed on Battlefield. It's kind of well, what else has EA got going for them, really?
We didn't even touch base on apparently Battlefield going free to play.
Apparently, again,
it's a rumor, right? It's not confirmed.
Not confirmed yet, but looks like it might be heading in that direction.
Because I was having an itch for Battlefield. I'm like, this game I've heard so many bad things about it. I don't really want to buy it. So now I'm just gonna hold out and see. So
Battlefield games are great 2 years after launch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
Fair.
Yeah. No, not a good selling point though for your investors. You're like, oh, this game is great 2 years later after we've had to slash it down to a quarter of the price.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking in 2042, but hopefully it gets to that point where it is a is a good game. Like, people are having fun with it, but it's just still too buggy.
Yeah, I didn't put it in the news or anything, but that sponsored stream that went up, that was just the game was basically evaporating in front of their eyes. It was pretty rough.
Oh no.
Couldn't access the scoreboard, had to manually count their kills. It was pretty bad. Anyway, you want to get into the Game Pass stuff, Cameron, quickly?
Yep. All right. So the only game that got added that hadn't been announced last week was Taiko, which I need to have a look at the achievement list, but I'm definitely going to be jumping on it. I don't know if they've done like the drum though for console.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Dreamscaper got announced to be launching under Game Pass February 3rd. Having a first look at it, it looks like Dreamfall chapters mixed with like a hack and slash.
Okay, cool. That looks interesting.
Like, it has that kind of artsy, dreamy feel to it.
I feel like I've heard a lot of good things about it. So
definitely going to be checking it out. Siege is hitting console on Feb 10th. I don't know anything about that one. And a Memoir Blue, which is published by... Who does 12 Minutes?
Annapurna.
Annapurna, that's it. I meant to plug. That is being delayed to March now.
Oh, okay. I mean, like, I love Annapurna stuff, so I'll probably check it out.
It definitely looks like it's going to be a good single-player experience. In terms of leaving Game Pass, we have Cyber Shadow, Nowhere Prophet, Prison Architect, and Xenocrisis. I'm not going to do the S ranks for the Xenocrisis. Please leave me alone.
By the time you probably hear the audio version, they'll already have left. But yeah, they're leaving at the end of the month.
Games of Gold got announced. We have Broken Sword 5 hitting Feb 1st. We have Aerial Knights Never Yields hitting Feb 16th, which I'm going to gloat for a second is the one that I got first in the world to complete. Ooh. So yay. Hydrophobia is available Feb 1st, and Band of Bugs is available Feb 16th. Any comments on those, Matt?
Broken Sword is a classic point-and-click adventure series, and the fifth one is pretty good. And then I'm definitely going to play Aerial Knights.
Super chill, like 10-hour experience on like left to right on rails movement.
Oh, okay, cool.
Kind of game.
Hydrophobia is kind of trash, but also relatively easy. It's an interesting idea that just did not get executed very well. And Band of Bugs is kind of like an old classic. But I think the only person I know who's finished it is Firehawk, who's in the chat with us.
Is Band of Bugs Game Pass?
I don't think so.
Or am I thinking Bug Fables?
I think you think of something else. Bug Fables, yeah, Bug Fables. All right. Yeah. Let's get into what we've been playing then. Oh, actually, do you want to? Yeah, let's do that first. Ben, have you been playing anything interesting last, couple weeks?
So the game that I picked up recently that just came on Game Pass that I've really been having a really good time with is Nobody Saves the World.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I love it. It's so good. Like I picked it up thinking this looks cute, but like I like this style. It feels kind of like the same like Castle Crashers kind of style kind of game with that kind of humor, and I love it. It's so fun. I probably already have like 11 hours in it, and I picked it up like last Thursday.
Oh wow, okay.
Me and Firehawk just finished because all the achievements can be done in the first run, and then your second run is a new defeat the final boss on New Game Plus. Yeah. We finished the first run yesterday, and once you get S rank for like the final four, like Necromancer, we're just going through Necromancer, just spawning killer bunnies everywhere, and it's just it's so broken, but so fun at the same time to just sweep through a dungeon.
That game it's so satisfying, and like I knew nothing about that game going into it, and just like the discovery aspect of that game, it's like, oh, what's this next form? Oh, this guy can summon bunnies and like that kind of stuff. It was so satisfying. Like that kind of, I love that game.
I love Guacamelee and at 1 and 2, so like I'm very very keen on this. This looks it looks so good, and I've been hearing nothing but amazing things all around. Cameron even thinks it might be his game of the year.
That's my current game of the year.
Yeah,
that's my game of the year right now. So
all right.
Well, besides Operation Zeta, of course, but yeah.
Of course, yeah.
I was gonna say with Nobody Saves the World too, it's the kind of game that lends well to like they could chuck DLC in like they can easily just go like, all right, we're gonna just add a few more forms.
Right. Oh, that'd be huge, yeah. Because I feel like there's that with the system they have built, like you could add so many other cool stuff with that.
Like there's so much more potential just to, just chuck on a few extra dungeons and just keep on building on the world.
100%.
Anything else?
That's the newest game I picked up recently. Basically recently.
Sweet.
I was gonna say with that too, you've been playing single player or co-op?
I've been playing it single player, but I don't know. I've heard mixed things about the co-op because I've heard the co-op can kind of is not as fun as the single player is what I've heard. I don't know if that's true.
The co-op for me, like having that, like, what's the best way to describe this? I've been playing with Firehawk, but I think this would be like the perfect couples kind of game because it's that kind of like self-discovery of like, all right, we have to do a challenge. This the ranger's not quite working. What skills can we add to the ranger for this challenge to figure it out? And it's like that collaborative teamwork.
Yeah, so like that's the thing though, is that like I've been doing that. I've been playing through it with a friend, and we've been only doing single player, but like I'm playing it and like me and her are like talking like, oh, what do we want to do here?
Right,
What's gonna
right.
work with that? But I feel like with the co-op, it's gonna be hard because so many of the challenges are like hit X amount of things with this one combo, and if you have two people killing all the enemies, I feel like that'd be harder to do, right?
For sure.
So. Interesting. And the only other thing I was going to say with the multiplayer too is, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it last week, but like you'll get 4 hours into the game and then you might just have a disconnection issue.
Right.
But there's that many save points in the game that it doesn't really.
Yeah.
Like,
is that game couch co-op? Or is it only online? I think it's only online, right?
I think it's on. Oh.
I don't think it's couch co-op.
Okay.
I don't know. Because I got really confused at first thinking, I'm pretty sure that the host only has the save.
Okay.
At least in my case. So, like, if you do co-op, you want to be sticking with that person that you're doing it with.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
But I think you can also use that same, like, say if I went and did like an hour of Shane, I could easily just swap it to single player if somebody decided to drop out.
Gotcha. Okay, right.
But yeah, definitely an amazing game.
No, really good. Like I said, yeah, that's on my list of game of the year already. So
very nice.
Good start to the year. Cameron, what about you then?
A lot of mine is essentially the exact same stuff that I've been working on. So Killer Instinct, been doing the AFK boosting for the 200 matches for all the characters. I'm at like 332 achievements now at a 464.
All right. Yeah.
Like I said, it's just going to be getting a character done a week grind, but I'm trying to get the 200 matches down because that's going to be the longest thing. Essentially, Nobody Saves the World. Love it. One of my favorite games this year so far. Rainbow Six Quarantine. I jumped in just to do a little bit of it. It hasn't caught me yet, but I think I might have been too harsh on it initially.
I think that's kind of the feel most people are getting, right? Is that like it's one of those relatively fun in a group, but kind of just not a great game as such.
Yeah.
Like I think the main demographic for it is going to be the Rainbow Six Siege community. Yeah.
Right.
And when you go from a game that you're essentially doing PvP, the enemy players are unpredictable in nature. You're always going to have a different experience. Whereas if you're using AI for your enemies and having a PvE environment, essentially you're going to go into, like, you play 10 hours, you're going to know how to play the game and know how to deal with most scenarios. It's not going to be one of those cases of like, all right, well, that guy came in and just absolutely bowled me over. Like, what can I do to improve on it? What can I use to counter? But,
yeah, I could never I had a bunch of friends that really tried to get me into Siege, and I couldn't do it. I didn't like the mechanics of like the leaning, and it felt kind of awkward on the controller to me of the whole how to play it.
It's weird because like when I first started playing Siege, I loved it at launch, but as time has gone by and they've updated like the new operators and that, I just something hasn't gelled with me.
Sure.
After,
but it's like, yeah, I feel like it's almost like the intangibles with that game. It doesn't like, and that's a big thing I feel like with especially like controller based games. It's like it doesn't feel right. Where like I feel like Respawn knows how to make games that feel really right. Like Apex, for example, when I first played Apex Legends, I'm like, okay, I understand exactly how everything works. Like everything feels really fluid, and like they clearly know like how this does. And Siege is the opposite for me. It's like this does not feel right. This feels very like not good,
Like
right?
clunky kind of.
Clunky. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. So
Yeah. Like Siege is, like I know Shane that we had on the podcast before. Sorry, we've had two Shanes now on the podcast before. Magicast that we've had on the podcast before. Like he loves Siege, but I don't know. Like there's a few diehard loyalists to it that.
I mean, yeah, like
I feel like everyone's
successful,
so
right? Yeah.
they love it. Everyone who plays it loves it, right? So
Yeah,
I think
mean, it has that sort of Counter-Strike, that sort of Counter-Strike appeal, right? Where you have people who are really hardcore into it and really absolutely love every aspect of it, even the aspects that aren't very good.
I keep saying Quarantine for it when it's Extraction now.
Extraction.
I can't get past the fact that they changed their name. I think it should have just been a DLC mode for Siege.
Right. Yeah.
Like
makes sense.
essentially, it's.
so does it not feel any different?
It feels different, but it's like PVE as compared to a PvP. Like
because you use the same operators, right? Like it's the idea is that like if they play the same way or close to it.
Okay.
Yeah. It just feels like they should have just kept it as that kind of short experience, but nevertheless, I played a bit of Operation Zeta. Which,
like it.
Yeah, it's really fun. I'm just trying to get used to the jumping mechanics for it.
So yeah, the thing is the key to Oz, and I feel like the thing is once people realize like once you figure out how to move around in the gravity mechanics, it gets a lot easier. You want to liberally use the stop button, the left trigger when you're in the ship. Like, because that will help movement so much more. And once you figure that out, like everything gets a lot easier from there.
Because my first like 2 or 3 runs, it's just like, all right, cool, jump into space. There goes my spaceship out to the side.
Yeah,
right,
no, and then you're gone. Yeah, so once you figure out how to move that around, like you can start doing things really quickly, right? So there's a character I don't know if you've unlocked it yet. Like the hardest character is the droid, and on the starter ship, I think you got to get 4 parts. On the droid, you have to get 20 within the 10-minute period. So, like, once you start to figure it out, you can start moving pretty quick.
Okay. So yeah, I've put a little bit of time into it. It was basically just trying to figure out the mechanics, realizing that maybe I shouldn't just be holding down right trigger because that's eventually going to hurt me and kill me.
Yeah, because you put those bullets into orbit, right? So with Oz, with all the gravity mechanics, when you just shoot and shoot and shoot, you have like a Kessler syndrome effect, basically, where there's just a bunch of bullets in orbit, and if you have to try to take off, your ship's going to get destroyed, right? So,
like that's the, I guess, the only criticism I have of the game so far is like I just need like a little bit more of a tutorial.
No, I've got that too. A lot of other people have said that, and also. You have any other feedback, feel free to reach out. That's anyone listening, if they play it too, feel free to reach out to me. I'm totally receptive to feedback and anything that you think would improve the game.
Yeah, 100%. I liked it once I started getting the hang of it, but it was essentially just trying to, hey, what am I doing? Like going to like, I essentially went like, all right, I'm having you on the show. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna just figure out what the go is. Yeah, went in. I don't know it's a roguelite. I've seen the gameplay trailer and I'm jumping around like, oh, the gravity mechanics and all that look pretty cool. It's like, all right. And then essentially the only thing was there's the Space Cats achievement.
Yeah.
And the comments in your Discord about the Elon Muskrat joke.
There's Muskrat,
Muskrat,
Elon Muskrat is one of the NPCs in that game.
Muskrat, okay, right.
Help me get my car into space. Which I thought was just had a good laugh.
That's great.
There's a lot of little jokes like that in Oz that I like. So, but yeah, no, that helped you toward an achievement because there's an achievement to get all of the lore entries, and there's a lore entry for him. Yeah. So,
I gotta say the one thing too that I love the fact that you have is just having that screen of like if this game wasn't on Xbox, like if it was Steam on that, having that in-game achievement counter.
Yeah. Which
I don't see enough like devs do these days. Like it's more common on, I guess, mobile titles. If I do see
like I said, I definitely like my gamer experience growing up was like I love Xbox achievements, and like I can't play games off of Xbox without the achievements. So that's a big thing. It's like if I make a game, it needs to have satisfying achievements, and even if it's not going to be on Xbox, it needs to have like these satisfying like pop up. Oh, you got this thing, and you get stuff for that, right? So, yeah.
I'm just trying to think what else. I did unlock like a few other characters, but I haven't really played. Like, essentially, I've just been playing as human until I get my first run done.
Yeah, no, that's a good strategy to do, because you do that, and then by the time you beat with human, and when you beat it, you get a whole ton of credits too. You get some more upgrades, and you'll be able to do it. So it'll be better. Tip I was going to give you as well. Yeah. There's an achievement for to complete 100 puzzles. Floorbow, if you've unlocked him, all of his quests are puzzles. So that's how you can grind that out with that.
Oh, nice.
So
sweet.
All right, so I'll have to use that. How many different puzzles are there in the game? Because I've come across the tile one.
Yeah.
The timing. I think there was another one.
I think there's 5 or 6 different ones right now. But with that, they're all randomly generated. That the DLC is going to add another 3 at least. So
sweet. And then the only other game I've been playing, as everybody else is probably very much aware in the Discord, is Cuphead.
I never got into Cuphead. It looks really fun.
It looks great. It plays relatively well, but it's not. I wouldn't call it fun.
Oh no.
So the main reason I've been playing Cuphead is they announced at the Game Awards the DLC, the Delicious Last Course DLC, is coming out on June 30th, which I'm pretty excited for. And then, as I predicted with Matt a while ago, that the TV show was going to launch, March or April, but it ended up coming like Feb 18th, which is a lot sooner. Looks great. It's going to be like 12 minutes of 12 episodes. And I'm going to just sit down and watch that with Stephanie. So I'm just like, all right, I'm going to do Cuphead. I'm going to bite the bullet.
You're going to bite many bullets.
It is a hard game, but it is not as hard as you think.
Okay.
I would mostly agree. Yeah.
And I think that's when I first bought this, I just played it. I'm just like, this is crazy. Like, I'm dying on every single level. That's the point of Cuphead.
It's very punishing.
It is very punishing. It is essentially this is the perfect non-roguelite.
Okay.
In a way, because
roguelite's Cuphead worth picking up then? Is it worth picking up? I should pick it up. Okay.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game.
Roguelite is the perfect example of a non-roguelite game that feels like a roguelite, because you're constantly dying, it's punishing you, but you're getting a little bit further each time you do it. The only problem I have with that kind of playstyle is I've done all the A ranks now on simple mode. I've done my S rank. I'm going through on expert now. I'll get hit once and I'll be like, retry.
Oh no.
Really, it's the only negative I have with the game, is essentially you get such a mindset of just like, all right, I'm not going to get that perfect run that time, because the achievements have conditioned me to always get A's as a rank.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean,
That's just me though.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Saying that, I have 4 bosses left to do on expert. I have the rat in the can that changes into the cat mid-level. I have the beehive. I have King Dice, and I have the devil. Devil I've nearly done quite a few times. It's just that final jump to the right as it's falling, the middle platform.
Oh, okay.
Like the final stage, there's just a constant one platform in the center. The chip is falling on you. You've got to jump
off and jump back on. Yeah.
It's trying to get. I've always got 1 HP left. I get it to where the flag is, and then I just die a few hits before.
Yeah.
Every single time. But it's been really gratifying to get through. Like, I don't think I've had a game in such a while that each time you defeat a boss, it's like, yes. Like, throw your hands in the air. Especially after doing like one boss for like 2 hours.
It has that Dark Souls level of being like, just like a really amazing feeling of overcoming a really difficult challenge.
At the same time, the only thing that I really would love to see added to like the DLC is a friends leaderboard.
Yeah.
Because I know with you, you're on the Discord, just like this effing robot, struggling. I jumped into a party last night with Keo, and that robot took me 2 tries on expert.
Yeah. See, right, and
World 3 is a lot easier the second time around on expert because you're so used to the patterns.
Yeah, because you've had to run them so many times. Yeah.
But essentially, it's just memorization at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But just to think that them hand drawing all these frames with this game is just.
I mean, it looks beautiful. It's one of the best.
It looks really pretty. That's my main appeal. It looks like a really fun art style to it. So.
Yeah.
At the same time, apparently they're doing new stuff. I'm interested to see if they're going to do claymation or anything for the DLC. Because how that trailer looked with them announcing it and them saying on a few of the podcasts that have been on that they have some tricks up their sleeve.
I'd be interested, yeah, for sure.
A claymation level would be...
That would be cool.
It'd be very interesting.
I wonder how that would work. Anything else?
I'm just trying to think how it would work as well. But no, that's pretty much it. Cuphead has engulfed most of my life this week.
That reminded me. But Halo Wars 2, you need to play it. I'm telling you.
Halo Wars 2.
If you want some tips, I got some tips for you. I'm playing at a high level.
12 achievements left. I did the long-term commitment one for doing all the weekly challenges in a month.
Yeah.
Doing a weekly challenge for 4 weeks across. I have 2 main game ones and the DLC. The only problem with Halo Wars 2 is the second DLC is one of the DLCs is incredibly boring.
Which one? Spearbreaker or the Nightmare Awakening?
Whatever. Probably the Awakening Nightmare, because there's a level where you have to hold out.
I haven't grinded through the story campaign. I liked both the story campaigns from a non-achievement perspective, but I think one of them was really hard. And I remember thinking, if I had to play through this on the hardest difficulty, I would hate myself.
It's hard, but at the same time, it's hold down for 45 minutes.
Yeah,
without having power, you essentially have to clear out these dig sites to get power, come back. Me and Steven played it, I think, before the start of the holidays, and it was just... painful.
I get that.
Otherwise, Halo Wars 2 is perfect. It's just that one level in the DLC that's really...
It's pretty good. My biggest complaint is that, because I do a lot of multiplayer, is that randomly, whenever your game just disconnects. It's less of an issue now than it was at launch, but that still happens more often than it should.
You get a couple issues with that too.
Yeah, you lose rank from it, which is the worst part, because it's I DC'd because of something I didn't do, and I lost 3 hours of my past grinding on rank right now, right? So sucks.
I just say though, Blitz is probably one of the best RTS.
It was a really cool idea. Yeah, I haven't played enough of Blitz, but it's a really cool concept for that. I really like that concept.
And I've been playing it probably at least weekly for the last 6 months.
Is there still a player base on Blitz?
It's quite active, surprisingly.
Okay.
I don't think it might be the same on Windows. I think they got rid of a few of the game modes that...
it's all crossplay now, right? I think they made all the game modes.
That's why it's weird. Apparently there's a few game types missing from Windows, but they're on Xbox.
Oh, I understand.
But it's crossplay,
okay.
so it's
they just took them out. They didn't want to do crossplay with them, I guess. Odd.
Sure.
Don't know. It might just be a case of Oh, what's that comment? Neo sounds salty because he thought it would be easy since Shadow was doing it. I got through 5 bosses in World 3 so quickly yesterday. That dragon was easy on expert.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's I'm not salty because I thought it would be easy. I'm salty because I got peer pressured into going back to it. I had already started it, so it was always on there, and I knew it was going to be difficult because I'd already had to do it. But yeah.
How gratifying is it going to be of a completion though?
Yeah, definitely. It'll be one of the top ones for sure.
I just there's 0 G achievements. That's the only thing I don't care for. I don't know why to have them in. But stuff like Pacifist is a lot easier than what I thought.
Yeah, I still need to do that in the King Dice without getting hit. Anyway, what did they put you at for achievements this week?
1625.
That's pretty good.
Seeing that I've just been doing Killer Instinct Cuphead.
I'll quickly flick through what I've been playing. Did Perfect Dark Zero with Mike, who's in the chat. We got
year rare games.
Yeah, exactly right. We got through level 9 on was it like Perfect Agent on co-op. We keep getting disconnected. Like 9 out of 10 times we'd get disconnected, which is really, really annoying because it just drops you out. We finished the level, stopped for the day, came back, didn't save. So we had to redo it. So we redid it yesterday, finally. We reinstalled the game. We keep getting disconnected. We finally got it. And that's the hardest level. So we got that one done. We're going to have to do it on the dark difficulty at some stage, but we'll get back to that. So slowly but surely making our way through that. It is.
So dark will be like a cakewalk, yeah? No,
dark will definitely not be a cakewalk. Dark will be an absolute nightmare. But that's a nightmare problem for future Mike and Matt. Also, I've been playing ukulele while I was away. I did the Windows version of ukulele because just kind of was one of my PC games that I own. Really fun. I really, really enjoyed it. It's still, I mean, I've done it before. It's that same Banjo-Kazooie style, same sort of humor, relatively straightforward game. The only problem with it is the mini games, much like the original Banjo-Kazooie games, where it's like the cart game where you're on the rails and you gotta jump and get gems is awful. And most of a couple of the retro arcade mini games are just not that much fun.
How's the camera tracking?
It's fine. I mean, it's okay. I mean, again, like it's never amazing, but I never had any issues with it.
Because I think they had I wouldn't say like major issues, but they had issues with the game, the camera tracking at launch, and I think it got patched. But
I had no issues with the game. I mean, it does help that I'd done the whole game before on the Xbox, so I don't know if that factors into it, but I was able to breeze through most of it, to be honest. There's also the walkthrough on TA is very, very good. It'll run you through where all the quills are in order, because one of the biggest problem with that game is like, oh hey, I've got 199 out of 200 quills and I have no idea where that one is, so I'm just going to check all the spots, I guess, which is not really my idea of fun. Speaking of not fun, I also played Gunscape, which is a blowfish game where you essentially build levels, and it's like Minecraft building with voxels, and then you go through and play it like a Doom first-person shooter. I think I talked a little bit about it last week. So I finally got that done. Just sat there in a room and just grinded out the 1,000 kills with a bunch of the weapons, did all the modes. A lot of it is just multiplayer grind. There's a little bit of single player, but it's super, super simple. Like, it's run through the 8 campaign levels and you can die as much as you want. But yeah, it's done. I'm just ahead of my backlog.
Published it?
Yeah, okay. Blowfish, yeah. Like it's fine. Like it's an interesting idea. It's very glitchy, but it's an interesting concept. Yeah. And then I also just finished up Raji, which is it's a third-person brawler with like a really interesting thematically it's all based on Hinduism and a lot of those stories, and it's really, really interesting in terms of like the narrative and kind of like all the set dressing. Like, it's a beautiful looking game. The fighting is very, very simple. It's a X and Y, X for regular attack, Y for strong attack. You get a variety of weapons, variety of upgrades. It's a relatively short game. I got it done in about 4 or 5 hours. There's a little bit of platforming. It's got a few collectibles. Like, it's got a little bit of everything, but it's not like it's on Game Pass. It's like it's one of those, go ahead, play it. It's short, interesting experience. Glad that it got made and released, but not something that I was like, it didn't leave a huge lasting impression. It's more about the visuals, really, in terms of like the sets and stuff they've made, rather than playing the game itself.
One of those neat, hey, this is on Game Pass, it's an indie, check it out, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely give it a go. And then Cuphead, like Cameron. So I got peer pressured back into going back to it. Found out that I'd only made it about halfway through the second world. So I had to beat the bird and the dragon still. So I went through and did those.
Had you already done the A+ rank, the A ranks on Island 1? Or?
I done on Island 1. Yes, yeah, okay. I had. and I'd done a few of them. Actually, I basically hadn't done any of the A ranks for the second island though, so I needed to go back and redo the bosses. So that clown was really annoying. Just on like timing, like he takes
The one with the roller coaster.
Yeah, because he's got 4 forms and he takes a long time to beat, and you need to beat him in under 2 minutes. Yeah. So the first time I did it in like 3, but I did everything else okay. But either way, got through all that.
The movement for him is really easy, but it's just the duration of the fight.
Yeah,
it's and getting to that final stage where it's the penguins throwing the baseballs.
The penguins are throwing the balls, and it's like you need to be moving a lot, and because the thing goes really, really fast. Yeah. So yeah, really enjoyed it. I just beat the devil this morning. But I got a B rank on it, so I'll need to go back and do it because I actually killed him too quickly. I didn't get enough parries in there to get a high enough rank, so I got to redo it, but that's fine. So I guess I got to start expert now.
When I got mine done, somehow the first time I beat King Dice, 3 HP.
I don't know how you managed that.
3 HP, A+ rank. I don't know.
I got an A, like I got like an A rank on King Dice. Because I was nearly dead. I was very, very lucky to beat him, but I'm just glad it was done. But yeah, I'll need to go back and beat him. But it's like, again, same thing Cameron said. Cuphead is an amazing game. My only real big issue with it is that it has a simple mode in it for making the game simple, but you can't progress through the game if you complete it on that difficulty. So if you beat all the bosses on simple, you get to like the end of the world, and it's like, no, you need to go back and finish them on normal. Which I really feel like is like kind of not the play. Like I get it because it's like it's a tough game, right? But I feel like in the way that people, accessibility is such a big thing these days. Like I'm hoping like that would be something really good for them to patch, to be like, no, we'll just let you see all the content even if you don't have the skill to beat all those bosses on the highest difficulty or even normal.
I've been interested in a lot of like the production and all that the last week. And a lot of the criticisms I hear is there should just be expert mode in the game, and that should just be the one and only mode. Because you're essentially replaying the game and not getting any content other than a slightly longer boss fight.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, because the expert doesn't add any new forms or anything, right?
If it was adding a phase to each boss, I would totally get it. But it's essentially like we've just given you 25% more health on the bosses.
Yeah, so it just becomes kind of not a great way of doing things. But yeah, I'll be really interested to see what happens with the DLC. I'm excited for it. I'm really glad that I got to the end of the game at least. Like, I'm very, very happy. It was one of those things where I just didn't think I was going to make much more progress on it. So I'm glad I got pushed back to do it. I don't know how much more of it I'll play. I might do expert. We'll see how it goes. But
I've been debating whether I want to do a few bosses just on co-op, just to see what the kind of experience is.
Yeah, I did co-op back when it first came out, and I really didn't enjoy it all that much. But it's because it's local only for a start. Yeah. And like you need to have both of you need to be really, really skilled because they increase the health of the enemies, but obviously you can do more damage. So
yeah. But at the same time, though, you've got an extra chance to keep going because you can just parry your friend if they pass.
That's true.
That's the only saving grace to me, especially on expert, like just pushing yourself through that way. But I don't know. I'm hoping that when it comes to the DLC that we don't have like complete all this in expert again. It's essentially just defeat the boss achievements.
I'm interested to see what how the new character plays. That's going to be probably the main thing. Apparently Chalice plays differently from Mugman and Cuphead. So anyway, that puts me at 3,305 for this week.
Ooh.
All right, you want to go through the leaderboard, Cameron?
3,305. You've got nothing on these three.
Yeah, apparently not.
Red is in third at 12,315 for the week. Jimbot UK is at 23,837 for the week.
Oh my gosh.
And our good friend Kruger, which will be on a future episode of the show, will be 48,000 for the week.
Which is insane. That's like half a year's worth of work.
Actually, what has he been playing lately?
Trash, I bet. 1 hour completions and sort of stuff.
Let's have a look at the recent ones. Clash Force, Stone,
Yep.
Miles Quest.
Yep.
The Blank Full Moon. I mean, they're not all Rattlelarker, but they're most Rattlelarker.
That's all trash. I did all of those when I was doing my boost. That's all the same games.
I'm trying to see if there's like a decent one. Blind Man. I mean, he's just having a visual novel week, you know.
Yeah, apparently.
He's got Restless Night started. I'm just checking if he has my name unlocked. Sorry, just ignore me for a moment. I can't even find it. Yeah, no, he's got my name unlocked. He's safe. It's fine. That's the only achievement that matters. This one is for Shadowless Edge. Right, cool. Questions. Hey guys, what games will you be most disappointed to hear that their servers are closing, and are you worried about any games in your backlog getting shut down anytime soon? Thanks for the show. And that's from Isaac. Thank you, Isaac.
Ben, is there anything in particular that you play multiplayer or have played or you want to get back to?
So the only thing that I've had that with recently, and I haven't played this game online in a long time, but when they originally announced the original Halo Wars 1 servers, because when they announced all the Halo 360 games, they were going to take those down. And originally Halo Wars 1 was on that list, but then I think some people reached out and that those are still up.
Yeah.
And that would be a fun thing to go back and play at some point. I don't know how much of a player base there would be, but I'd be kind of sad if that went down, and I'd probably play that for a couple weeks if I saw it was going to go down.
I'm probably going to go back to that myself and try and get both of them done, just because I've tried to get every Halo game done except for the mobile ports.
Halo Wars 1 is a lot easier on achievements than Halo Wars 2.
Yes, it is.
So, yeah. Because I 100% in Halo Wars 1. I did not do that with 2. So
I'm so close with Halo Wars 2. I just need to bite the bullet and get it done.
There's some hard ones in there, so
it's the what are they called? Vidmaster challenges for the DLC.
Oh yeah,
it's really hard stuff.
There's some tricky ones in there. I remember going through it, and I'm like, I can't do these. I'm just not gonna bother. This doesn't look like fun. I love this game, but this doesn't look like fun. I'm not gonna do this.
DLC just doesn't let you do the base delete, get a Wraith or a tank method. That's unfair.
Yeah, that sucks, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, a lot of the 360 stuff I'm more worried about now.
I mean, I've got a big list because I've been doing my big cleanup. My goal for this year is to try and finish up as many of my online achievements as possible. So, like, I still need to go back and do Army of 240th Day. I need to do Binary Domain, Syndicate, which I'm nearly working on, and then Guardians of Middle-earth. Those are the main ones. Like, I'm really worried about a lot of those shutting down because those are all 360 games for the most part.
Yeah.
And then there's, because, like, anything could happen at this point, especially on the EA side of things where they don't tend to hold on things.
Probably Titanfall's probably the big one for me, seeing that's been delisted.
Yeah.
Like,
they're doing that with the original Titanfall?
Titanfall got it's apparently getting delisted in March, I think. Or has been delisted.
I feel like that's quick.
It's the 360 version, though, right?
Yeah, no, I think it's both.
Oh, okay, right.
And I'm guessing the reason behind that is too they've got Titanfall 2, they've got Apex.
Sure.
It's how many? 2014, 8 years old. 7, 8 years old. But then, pretty much as the record goes with VA, it's gonna go down quick.
Yep.
Fingers crossed that 360 some of the stuff is peer-to-peer, but I very much doubt it, and it's going to be a grind.
Yeah, for that, especially for the 10 Prestige, I'll be there for a while.
Great game, but 360 does not hold a candle to the Xbox One version. Other than that, a lot of the stuff on 360 that I've once there's been I've had such an urge to go back to Guitar Hero and Rock Band.
Yeah, we need to go back to Guitar Hero 3. We should just do that.
Rock Band 3 has one discontinued achievement because it's based off a server. Otherwise, I'd be able to complete the series still.
Dang.
And Guitar Hero, there's been that many online achievements that have gone down. I'm really hoping with the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard that they really bring Guitar Hero back.
We'll see.
But
I'm not holding out hope, considering how badly the last one did.
Yeah, that's the confliction that I have. Phil Spencer saying that he wants to bring back old IPs like Guitar Hero, but at the same time, knowing what those companies did to, like, you think of Harmonix and who was the one making the instruments for Rock Band?
Red Octane.
Yeah, and Red Octane going under.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've only just come back with a few products.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see, but I'm not super hopeful.
Oh, but I mean, give me Rock Band instruments, give me Guitar Hero instruments. I'll take them.
Of course,
I feel like
will.
they
You
haven't
gotta-
made any of those games in a while, right?
Yeah, it's like
So-
they did Rock Band 4 like last year, but
Rock
that was
Band
the last
4
one.
is still getting support. They're still getting like
Okay.
DLC added every single week.
Sure.
Like 2 songs a week, I'm pretty sure. And
But
then
it didn't set the world on fire by any means. It
check the
didn't get
comments.
everyone back
It's just
into it.
like make more instruments, make more instruments. It's like it's not them, but anyway. And yeah, the other question we got from Red is how did Shadow and Neo meet?
Well, we met on Real Gamer Score, basically because we were both guest hosting that show when the original host couldn't make it, essentially. And then we met first in person at PAX a few years back.
In an underground chicken basement.
Yeah, we were eating chicken in a basement. It
Sounds
was
like a
very
good
nice
time.
chicken, and it was a very nice basement, but it was chicken in a basement.
I don't know about how nice it was because I came in. So I had just gone for like a 5-hour drive from Swanell. I had just checked in my motel, walked over, tried to find the place, couldn't find the place because it's just behind this like random door with no sign or whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Walk downstairs, meet Kirby for the second time. I'm pretty sure. Because
First time I met Kirby, but yeah.
I met Kirby at PAX a year before, so met both of yous.
Alison was there as well.
Alison was there as well. Kirby offered me cold chicken.
You were running late, mate.
That means he's just like, hey, like if you want anything, it's like it's been sitting here for like half an hour, but go nuts. And then I ordered something, and it was like what closing time was in 15 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much. You were that arsehole. But yeah, that's pretty much how we met. And then yeah, we eventually took over IGS as the original hosts. Kind of had their other stuff come up, especially around COVID and things like that, and other responsibilities. I mean, Alex had a kid, and Kirby
I
was
had a kid. It didn't stop me doing the show. I know different circumstances as
a
well.
little bit, yeah. Yeah, but he also does other stuff, We just play video games.
Yeah, true.
And then eventually we spun it off to start this show up. But yeah, that's been, God, I don't know how many years now. It's been a long time.
There's been plenty of great memories. There's been the Alex breakfast story.
Yes,
There's been-
that PAX trip was a very, very good trip, and I'm hoping that we get to do another one shortly.
Been Maxibon challenge. Sorry, undisclosed ice cream brand challenge.
Yes, undisclosed ice cream brand that won't sponsor us challenge. Yes.
Yeah. So rude. All they had to do was like give us a few ice creams. That's
Yeah, I
fine.
know, right? We're very cheap.
Allison falling asleep.
Yes, actually, Alison falling asleep in the in one of the panels, and there was a Q&A thing like on like an app, and one of the things was like, man, there's someone asleep in the third row. I really wish I was that person, and I was laughing about it, and I turned to talk to Alison about it, and I realized she was the person they were talking about.
Oh no.
So funny.
Oh no.
So funny.
I'm trying to think what else happened to PAX.
We also played a lot of Guitar Hero and sang really badly.
The Guitar Hero afternoon, that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good.
Checked out a few games, like Unpacking and Town Scraper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go into our completion shoutouts for this week. We've got Chapter, who finished up Lego Batman.
Nice.
We've got Red, who finished up Wanted, Weapons of Fate, Night at the Museum, and Superman Returns.
He's been on a real 360 kick and a real kick in the teeth buying these 360 Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
Red.
The $300 ones, yeah.
I'm gonna put a message in the chat.
Baron
No,
von
he's
Neumann.
buying them for $5 each.
Yeah, I know.
It's $280 Australian here. They're freaking $5 each.
That's what happens when we live in the arse end of the world, mate. Baron von Neumann finished up Dauntless, Dungeon Defenders Awaken, and Warframe, which is, I mean, that's a hell of a trilogy of games to finish.
I
There's a lot of
mean,
work involved there.
did say too, like Dauntless was like a little bit of an older completion. Warframe was a constant work in that, but still, great games.
Yeah.
I should check out Dungeon Defenders Awakened. A bit more.
Valak finished up Cyber Shadow, which is good, right before it leaves Game Pass. Left 4 Dead Pills here, finished up Rogue Company. The Alpha Seagull finished up Halo Spartan Strike. Keo finished up Forza Motorsport 7 and Metal Gear Solid 5 on the 360. And Rapture, as usual, just finished up every baby game known to man.
All the 10-minute completions.
As many short completions as he could find. All right. Well, that's going to sort of bring us towards the end of the show.
You gonna do the Patreon giveaway?
Yep. So, first I'm going to talk about the word challenge, which is my favorite thing. For those who don't know, the word challenge is where I've picked a game and I give a clue each week, and you have to go into our Discord server, which is discord.io/Hall of Gamers. You come hang out with us there, talk with us. We've got a lot of channels for the podcast for this challenge and a few other bits and pieces. Cameron, also you set up a new bot or a couple of new things?
So I set up 2 new bots, or essentially one bot that does, 2 different bots. First one is like there's a Give Me a Game channel, which essentially is the fun little game that I did the other day. Essentially, Ben, what we've been doing with guests is we give them an opportunity to complete an Xbox game if they want to go for an achievement run. Do you want to partake?
Sure.
So most of these games are on Game Pass, but not all.
Okay.
I've essentially gotten rid of the paper now and I'm just going to type into the bots.
Okay.
But it will give you somewhat of a harder completion. So we're talking anywhere from like
Oh no.
Gears of War 5, Flight Simulator. Nah, not all of them are.
And you got all year to do it, to be fair.
I have all year. Okay.
But it's essentially just giving you an idea of like what's a game that, you know, is somewhat recognized with Xbox. Like you think of something like Recall. Did you ever play Recall back on?
I did not. No.
Yeah. Just like maybe this is the thing that gets you over the line to go back to an older game and go.
Sure.
All right, check it out. So the rules is you'd have to free draws, but it's kind of like deal or no deal. As soon as you
gotta take one when I get one.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you.
All right. So the first one is Fallout 4.
Oh, jeez.
Which is probably a good one to start with.
It's not a bad one.
That's not a bad one. I already have a lot of these. This includes all the DLC.
I mean, if it's it's one
I mean,
that you haven't completed yet and already started.
I haven't completed it, but I already have a lot of achievements in it, and it's a game that at one point I wanted to complete.
It's not a bad idea.
So the question is though, do you want to
redraw
another game?
I got 2 more, right? I got 2 more I can take.
But you could end up with something really rough.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. You're right. Fallout 4 is kind of a safe pick, and I've been kind of looking for a reason to do it. But I think for the fun, I need to go again, right?
All right.
Just for the entertainment factor here.
Let's see. What is our second pick going to be?
Oh, jeez.
Pick a game. Ori and the Blind Forest.
Ooh, okay, that could be fun. I haven't played that, but I have a friend who was really, really into it and said Ori was really good.
Great game.
Beautiful
Fantastic game. Yeah.
That's tempting. I kind of want to just go for it though. Hit me the last one, and I'll get stuck with it.
Right. I'm praying for you.
It's gonna be awful. I know.
Yeah. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
Oh boy.
I regret everything. Oh no. I've been wanting to play that game too, but I think that's gonna be the hardest of the 3. So.
Okay. I'll give you an out with that though. Do you actually own Sekiro, or do you plan to get Sekiro? Because I do have a few that aren't Game Pass games, but are challenging if people wanted to try and go for something harder.
I had been considering getting Sekiro. It was on my short list of games to play. I don't currently have it though.
Because I have given guests an opportunity to go like, if they don't have access, they can do one more.
We'll see. I'll take another one then, because that sounds like a painful thing to play through. Because I'm not very good at video games. So,
Doom 2016.
I'll take it. I'll take that.
Cool. That's a great one.
That's a great one. The worst thing of that is the multiplayer.
Yeah, but, and even then, that's not too bad.
Okay. Yeah, that's very achievable.
All right.
Cool.
Fantastic. So,
So that's one of the bots. So Pick a Game is the one that I'm doing off the podcast, which should have approximately 50 to 60 entries on it. You've got Halo Infinite, you've got Halo MCC, you've got Gears of War 5, you've got Age of Empires, you've got Forza Horizon.
yeah, there's a heap of other stuff, and Cameron will add more stuff as we go forward.
Yep. There's also a Game Pass bot, which I painstakingly typed out all the Game Pass games that are on console last night. I will change the list up whenever I get a chance. So if you do get a one that's essentially has left Game Pass, just redraw. But I mean, it's recent as of yesterday, so you'll be fine. And I haven't added the games that are leaving to Game Pass, so you should be pretty safe for that. Just if you want to go like, hey, I want to roll the dice on it, but at the same time, I'm not going to use the rent. You know, I want the peer pressure to actually stick with the.
You want people to see it.
Because, you know, peer pressure is good for getting games completed, it turns out.
Apparently.
I can see that.
And then, yeah, there's another completions bot that I'm trying to get to work. It is posting the games started and games completed from TA, but for whatever reason is not putting a space between the gamer tag and the started or completed word.
Yeah, it's weird. So
I don't know, but like the bot's like serving its purpose.
But yeah, so you can check those out on the Discord, and you'll just have to send a friend request, but the instructions are all there.
Yeah. So add Hogpod on TA. Holy Gamers was taken.
Yeah, right.
And Hogpod just sounds so much better.
And so we've got the word challenge. So I've got a new clue for everyone this week. So this is a game that you need to put into the challenge, and you need to put the exact title of the game to have a gift show up. And if you get the gift, you get the right game, you win $40. Normally it's 20, but Cameron ruined it last time by guessing it, so we doubled it.
Nobody was guessing the right thing.
The
You were
podcast has been out
practically
for like
giving it away.
I was practically giving it away, just not to you. Unbelievable. Anyway, so I'm the only one who knows.
Ironic that the person
who
who
knows the
originally
answer.
made the word challenge can't even guess in his own word challenge.
I'm exactly. So I'm the only one who knows it. But the clues that we have is that it's a puzzle game. It's not on Xbox, and the new clue is that it was released before 2000.
Oh, jeez.
So again, still a lot of games out there, a lot of possibilities. But go through. It's not the fucking Witness, all right? It's not the Witness. I know everyone is putting the Witness in there for some fucking reason. It's not the Witness. I didn't mess up the bot. It's not the Witness. Anyway.
So clarification on your hint there. It's not on Xbox like at all. Like it never got remastered or put on Xbox.
It's never been on Xbox.
Okay.
I love Alex's comment this week. Witness that.
Yeah, witness that. Yeah, some really helpful people in our Discord.
Oh, what? There was another one that was getting guessed over and over. Tetris 99.
Yeah, Tetris. Exactly.
It's also not Tetris 99.
If you haven't, it only works the first time. So go back and check it. Also, there's a slow mode on it, so you can only guess once per hour. So meme answers are really just slowing you down.
So when I read a bot to just put random puzzle games made before 2000 in, is that?
I mean, if you can do it once per hour, sure, go for it. You know,
I mean, if you're willing to reprogram the bot every single week, then
for $40, yeah, sure.
Yeah, listen, I'm a starving artist here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fair.
I got to get money where I can get it. So.
Take the wins where you can get. Yeah, absolutely. We've also got our Patreon. Speaking of making money, patreon.com/HallOfGamers, where you can come and give us some cash each month rather. What you get for that is basically fuck all, but we also do another podcast called Lights, Camera, and Action, where Charlotte and myself, Charlotte, our wonderful moderator, subject Cameron to movies that he usually hasn't seen. At the moment, we're doing video game movies. So we're in the process of watching Free Guy, which is not technically a video game movie, but close enough.
I mean, it is a video game movie, right?
Right, yeah, right, exactly. So, we're going to watch that. We'll have a new episode out for you hopefully next week. We'll see how time goes. We still need to watch the movie.
I mean, by that logic, we're going to soon be watching like Charlie's Angels just for that one scene where Drew Barrymore comes in and they're playing co-op on Final Fantasy on the console.
Yeah, that's weird. And so, so that show's exclusive to Patrons. The first few episodes are up on there for free, though, if you want to get a taste of what it's like. The Mortal Kombat episode is in there, and it's one of my favorites. And we also do a game giveaway draw each month. Cameron, do you want to take it away?
So we had Shadow Man Remastered win by 1 vote, which I'm very surprised with. I was expecting Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon to win.
Yeah. But I mean, Shadow Man looks interesting.
Yeah, it does. I know nothing about the game other than it looks cool, and that's it. Yeah, but essentially, drum roll, please. God, that is the worst drum roll in the history.
Mate, you're the one doing the stream and all that stuff.
Mate,
You should have
my
the sound ready to
PC
go.
died this week. We were quite literally like putting things together a minute before the show.
Yeah, that's fair.
What do we expect? It was Todd.
Congratulations, Todd.
So
Get
Todd
that Shadow Man.
Shadow Man Remastered.
Yep, we'll get a code to you, and then we'll have a new set of 3 games to vote on next week.
And just because I'm feeling nice too, I might chuck in a code for Operation Zeta.
Oh, fantastic! Absolutely,
It's a fun game.
It's a very good game. Yeah, any plans to release your other games to Xbox? Or...
Yeah, like I was saying, all
like
my
previous titles.
games.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because my first game was the first one I got rejected, and that game I wrote so long ago, I want to remake that game, so it'd be a brand new game. And the second one is it's like a management game, and it would be tricky to port that to controller. I think it would be fun too, but like that game wasn't designed with a controller in mind.
Sure.
Yeah. And I don't think it would feel like I could do it, but I don't think it would feel right. Whereas like Operation Zeta, I built from the ground up. Like, this is going to work on control with console in mind. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Any plans for Game Pass in the future?
I think that would be a cool thing. If Microsoft wanted to reach out to me for that, I would be down for it. So.
Oh, that's right. I'll just hit up Philly Spence. That's what we do. Right?
Yeah. No, just send him.
Good old Uncle Philly Spence.
Yeah,
exactly.
Tell him I'm down for it. So.
Fantastic. All right. Well, if you want to come watch us live, we do the show live every week. Hall of Gamers Pod is the Twitch address. Come hang out with us. Talk to the people in the chat. Chapter, thank you for subscribing with Prime, mate. We appreciate it. You can come hang out with us, ask questions, that kind of stuff. We really appreciate it. The community likes to get involved, and occasionally you get a free game code dropped in the chat and that kind of stuff as a bit of an added incentive. If you want to get in contact with us in other ways, you can email us at hallofgamerspodcast@gmail.com or at hallofgamerspod on Twitter. So you write in your questions. Otherwise, you can get us on the Discord as well. We've got a questions channel. We'll endeavor to answer them on the next week's episode. Otherwise, if you want to help out in other ways, you subscribe to us on your platform of choice. Leave us a review. Tell your friends. Word of mouth is always so huge for us. We talk about it in boosting sessions quite a bit. And we work really hard to get cool guests on, like Ben here. Speaking of which, Ben, do you want to shill your game once more and let people know where they can find you if they want to?
Plug everything.
Yeah, so Operation Zeta is out on Xbox and Steam. It's coming out to another console that I can't announce for like another week. That'll be fun. So that you can find that Operation Zeta. I do stream on Twitch some of my dev process. So if you want to watch me do like code and pixel art, feel free to follow me on Twitch. I do that. I also have a Discord if you want to hang out there. So yeah, fun stuff.
Fantastic.
And
Cameron?
Operation Zeta 5K update, yeah?
There will be more achievements. Confirmed.
Pump them out.
Cameron, where can we find you?
You can find me as Shadowless Edge, pretty much everything. Probably just going to be doing Cuphead and Killer Instinct for the next week.
Fantastic. All right. And you can find me on pretty much everything, Neomaster, True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. Again, a big shout out to Charlotte for moderating and just being a wonderful human being and helping to quality assure the podcast. We could not do the show without her, and our other patrons who give us money so we can actually afford to keep the lights on. And thank you again so much, Ben, for joining us.
Of course, thanks for having me.
It's great having you on.
Yeah, of course.
That's going to wrap up episode 24 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Bye.